I think T1 are pretty okay with this. You know, they end up in... They have a comfort pick for Faker. Faker's most played in rounds 3 to 5. You know, Ona's on his Xin Zhao. The Orianna Xin Zhao is a good combo. Corki Poppy are going to be very serviceable later on. There's a lot of dive throughout the enemy team. It is pretty scary, but I think overall things have been navigated pretty well. That
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the rift for Game 1 of our Saturday Showdown. T1 taking on Gen G for our best of 3s decider, which is very, very cool. There is only one team in the world this year that can say that they're actually facing off against Gen G in a best of 3s, because no other team has managed to beat them at all.
Yeah, actually. It's crazy to think how many matches Gen G have played and how few...
They do not do losing very good.
Yeah.
That's maybe the thing that they need to work on.
The number of teams who have beaten them in a best of 3, I think it's... So it's T1 and Bro, isn't it? For the LCK Cup?
Oh, right, yeah, from the LCK Cup.
Yeah.
So it's our other 2 best teams here in the LCK. And I guess that's without a doubt. Oh, I'm really glad that you bring that up, Ox. Man, that's why we pay you the big bucks. That's why you're here, for the good stats.
Unforgettable.
Oh, that is absolutely amazing. Also, the tiniest of sample sizes, because, you know, winning against Gen G just is a small sample size for every other team in 2025. As Chovy and Faker facing off here momentarily. It looked like an okay trade there for Faker, but Chovy was holding on to that Electrocute proc. And so the Orianna is going to be playing this one a little bit back. We did mention already that this can be a rough matchup for the Orianna, but that's mainly because Aurora, if played properly, is just kind of disgusting in lane.
Yeah, especially the Electrocute. After they buffed that rune, does so much damage. Oh, this is not
yeah,
good.
Keria taking so much damage here. The tempo heal to come out from Gen G. And Keria, he's just going to have to go back home. Gumayusi is just going to be clutching that egg underneath that adorable skin, seeing whether he can survive here in this lane, which he should be able to do. I don't think we're going to get a 2v1 dive here out of the bottom lane at level 2.
This is the thing with having the Nico into a melee support, so much power. They hit the level 2 first, T1 not really respecting it, and the root hitting, putting some vital pressure down onto the bot lane of T1. Pretty well played there by Duro.
Yeah, and it's not really a lane, like Kai'Sa lanes in general are not ones that we often see doing a whole lot of damage in the early stages of the game. So
yeah, I mean, this is why Kai'Sa Nico has been such a potent pairing, is the fact that there are matchups like this where typically Kai'Sa into Corki you expect to be pressured, but when it's Kai'Sa Nico into Corki Poppy, suddenly you have a Kai'Sa in a winning lane scenario, and that's just phenomenal, because once you get Kai'Sa Nico to the team fights, you're in a great spot.
And it's also Duro's Nico as well, which I feel he is very good at controlling the lane. As I'm glad we panned away so we didn't get too much of that Faker -1, as the cannon did get eaten by the turret a little bit unfortunately there. As Duro just continuing to put the pressure onto Gumayusi. And this is not something that we often see, right? This is the bottom lane that often has all the pressure. And now Canyon, speaking of pressure, is coming down to look for a dive. Gumayusi does have his summoners available, but he may have to use them as the Valkyrie comes out. There's the barrier, as Duro holding onto the turret aggro, and he is a cannon. And so he can do it, as Keria now so incredibly low, as Canyon just standing next to him. Gets out the steadfast presence as the flash forward. Duro will be able to tank that one up. No buckler death for him. And it's 2 kills here in the bottom lane already for Gen G.
Duro just playing that one so perfectly. I feel like playing with T1's bot lane now. Dive coming top.
Yep, Keen could be in a little bit of trouble, and by could be, I mean, he definitely is. Flash out from Ona, that is going to keep him alive. Keen will be able to deal with this wave. Of course, Sion pretty good at getting dove, which is a weird thing to say, but not going to miss out on too much. And he stops the back of Doran there as well, which is quite frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, Duro just completely manhandled the bot lane of T1 there. Played everything perfectly.
Oh, does this mean we get another thumbnail? We might get another thumbnail.
We could do. That's what we're looking for.
The Nico one was really cursed last time as well, so I'm really looking forward to it.
And you know, maybe he gets his POM finally. So here he sets up and baits the slam from Keria, flashes it immediately, which was just so well played. and then lands the root onto Carrier, gets him low. Goes for the redive here, takes aggro, walks out, the buckler comes in, not enough to kill him.
Yep. And it was actually well played by Carrier there as well, making sure that he doesn't get hit by the Vault Breaker by using the Steadfast Presence and then going for the opportune counter kill option. Just wasn't quite there for him just because of how well Gen G played it. And so now, 1,000 gold is what separates these two squads. And we are one away from Feats of Warfare here for Gen G at the same time as Chovy and Faker just throwing abilities at one another over and over again. As the ulti comes down here from Chovy, a lot of damage coming on in as Faker getting pushed out of the lane.
Yeah, there was also, this was a thing. I'm not sure if it's still a thing, but if you turn into a cannon minion as Nico,
yeah, I think you do take a bit less damage, right?
Yeah, so I think he turned into a cannon minion specifically to reduce that as well. So really just maximizing the pick.
Yep.
Which, as you can see, he's been getting a lot of success on.
Yeah, I was wondering whether that would be removed, because it seems really broken, but I guess they haven't done it yet. As Doran is just looking to 2v2 kill Ruler and Duro, and that's, I guess, something that you can do at level 6 on this Renekton, as Duro at least is going to get pressured out of the lane. T1 have started off this Dragon, but it's under full vision here of Gen G.
Yeah, Duro putting some threat back, but has to be very careful as Doran with Flash can just kind of one-shot him if he wants to.
Yeah.
Ona does just smite the Scuttle, but carries enough to keep Canyon away.
It looks like they're just not going to go for it because they do have Gen G's bottom lane towards the top side of the map. That will mean that just inherently there is less control of that bottom side, but maybe some plates available here as Doran has walked his way back up. Actually, no, didn't actually decide to go back, was just chilling underneath the turret. As the flash forward, looking to lock down the Nico, and Doran just punishes Duro for overstepping.
Beautiful play there from Doran. Knows the summoners are down from that dive in the bot lane. Finds the window. You know, he got him low before with the ultimate. He was waiting for that opportunity, and the immediate punish comes through with the flash.
He is the true epitome of a ruthless predator.
Absolutely.
Know what I'm saying?
And definitely a nice resurgence there. Kind of needed for the side of T1. Finds the window, doesn't get tricked by the clone as well. Connects immediately.
Really nicely played there by Doran. Now doesn't have flash, but I think he's going to be very happy, sitting on 2-0 now on this Renekton. Keen, though, has just been fine, farming towards the bottom side of the map. The Renekton not necessarily benefiting from the lane swap very much as far as the farm is concerned, so that will put a dampener on the massive lead that this Croc does have. But Renekton's getting advantages in the early game is so incredibly important for keeping him relevant as this one goes on, and we'll have that Dominus back available in 7 seconds' time.
Especially with the composition that Gen G has. I mean, they do have the DPS to cut through targets, but in the mid-game, I feel like this Renekton can kind of just run rampant. If you're focused on like trying to kill the backline, and there's just this Renekton there doing so much damage, especially with the buffs they made to his Dominus, he just kind of melts everyone who's nearby.
Could be a very large problem. Not to mention the skirmishing capabilities of things like Xin Zhao and stuff like that, especially if they can carry the orb around that Faker can deliver. As Chovy just trying to get back to this lane right now. Faker being a little frustrating. But it will just be the Grubs going over to Gen G. They do get all 3 of those in trade for the Dragon from earlier on.
Yep, Grubs for Dragon ends up being the trade. Obviously, it was an earlier Dragon pickup from T1, but they weren't really in position to go for the Grubs. And still, it's a situation where, you know, Chovy's up in farm. In the mid lane, we have Ruler pretty sizably ahead in terms of the AD carry role as well.
Yeah, that's actually a massive farm lead that he's managed to pick up, especially on top of the kill and assist that he has put together.
The dive timing was just so ruthless and really put people behind. So, definitely playing from a deficit right now. The thing is as well, with this Kai'Sa and this Corki, both of them kind of spiking at a similar time. Those 2 items are the big major spikes, so Ruler being ahead of the curve is going to feel really nice for him.
Certainly is. See how long it's going to take him to get that first item locked in.
I will say Black Cleaver already completed for Doran.
Oh, God. Well, Keen, fun times are over. Oftentimes, you get the Kindle Gem and the Bramble Vest, and you're like, oh, I feel great now.
What does Black Cleaver do? It shreds armor, and Keen hasn't had a chance to build any armor.
There you go.
You know?
Nailed it. Oh,
what armor?
Your cup is half full today, Orcs, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's that sort of positivity that we hired you for, obviously, here in the LCK. As Gumi Shikaria going to be at least picking up this wave for the moment. I feel like we haven't, like, yes, Gen G have a lead as Chovy going aggressive here into this mid lane. The Void Seeker is going to miss, as Faker will be electrocuted momentarily. Finds a shockwave onto Chovy as well, who will tank up this turret. Does hop his way away.
Yeah,
not enough of a dot to grab that plate.
The important thing there was dodging away from the Void Seeker, as I know Ruler definitely would have dove in there, and
yep.
I think Faker, hard to say he would have survived, definitely would have had to flash at minimum.
As Keen doing his very best to fight back here towards this top side, as Doran's still sitting on the Dominus, so he's still very scary, continuing to just fight as much as he possibly can. Keen, though, with the shield and things like this, is kind of feeling all right, as Canyon, moving on over, does have some control vision in the area. Has been pretty quiet, though, on this Vi thus far, mainly just keeping tabs on what Owner has been doing.
Yeah.
Forward to seeing whether this first cease and desist is actually going to work out.
But both the junglers are now full build, as you will have seen.
Oh, yes.
They've completed their entire build path.
Oh,
so.
Owner didn't go to the thrift store to get his free socks, though.
Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate.
Oh, it's a little bit of a shame. Sometimes you got to make sure that you collect those handouts. A little bit unfortunate. That's okay. Canyon at least managed.
Oh no, we got them now.
Oh, there it is. Never mind. Okay,
yeah,
I take it all back.
Yeah, the kill from Canyon when he got it a little bit sooner.
Yeah, okay.
So now they're really full build.
Yeah, they really are.
They got everything they need.
I'm really glad that they're both thrift shopping as well. You know, got to get to the bargain bin. Lock down those socks. Can't be walking around the jungle in just your bare feet. They need at least socks on.
They spent all their money on this fancy spear and they just couldn't afford anything else. But do they really need anything else?
Yeah, it's priorities. Yeah. Priorities. It's like if you were to give like a 5-year-old some money and like, here, buy some survival things from the supermarket, and they just come back like with a random toy car from the toys aisle.
And a chocolate bar, you know.
I'm not saying this out of experiences. We've got a bit of an engage. Great snare to come down from Duro, and another kill comes in for Ruler. Now Duro looking to lock down Carrier, but he's not going to find her. Gyumushi does flash away, but it's a double for the Kai'Sa. Doran trying to get in there as Canyon looking to fend him off. But Meek not going to quite work out. The heroic charge does come through, though, and Ruler will be locked down. Doran is very scary, but he just goes down. Chovy finds the angle, and it's another Tangle Barbs as the double comes in for Duro. This bottom lane are now just unstoppable.
Great play there from Gen G. A couple of answers back, and you can see Doran trying to do as much as he can in the fight. But it starts off with a pick on the Owner, just decimated here. Doesn't get a chance to use the ultimate. The CC layering comes in. He dies without getting any value, and then Guman Carry in a lot of trouble. Duro comes in, flashed away from the ultimate, but Ruler and Canyon can follow. And at this point, Doran's trying to turn things around, but it's a 3v5. So despite how strong he is, despite the fact he can run Canyon down, Faker's zoned away by Chovy. And it's essentially a support and a low HP Crocodile trying to get everything done. And
yeah,
I mean, Faker does find it,
yep.
So I think, honestly, testament to Carrier, Doran, and Faker for answering back on those 2 kills, but it was still a massive win for Gen G. And the bot lane, 3-1-3 for Ruler, 2-1-4 for Duro. This Kai'Sa Nico is popping off.
Certainly are. The Kraken Slayer has now been completed as well, and we are moving very quickly towards item number 2, which is going to be just a very frightening moment for T1, as this Kai'Sa accelerated in the mid-game with a dive composition such as this. It's just going to be quite difficult to deal with.
Oh man, he's got Cole nearly stacked as well.
Yeah.
If Ruler hits 2 items before Guma gets his 1, it's just over. It is just unplayable.
It's kind of crazy though, because you can see Canyon moving over here, looking to try and lock down this dragon. Could be double dragon for T1 to start this one off, as the knockup does come through, but they're not going to be able to get here. That's going to be a Chemtech Soul, which honestly, not too bad. Oftentimes they give you a hard time for this one, but there is a Renekton and stuff like that, as Gyumushi taking a lot of damage here, as Ruler is just showing off his cool new things.
I think it feels pretty bad for T1 though. You're behind in gold, you've invested in these dragons, you'd love like a Hex Tech.
Yeah, something to help you do a bit more damage.
Something to really just say, hey, yes, we're behind in gold, but if we get a couple more dragons, the game is going to be so much easier.
Think about Poppy though.
I mean,
Carrier's going to like actually be tanky.
Poppy's still going to get 1 hit, right? If Ruler's this fed, still just going to get exploded.
I thought your cup was half full, Ox. It was before.
It's a lot less full now.
Yeah, it's not feeling super great, but still, 3,000 gold is, what do we say? Insurmountable, not insurmountable.
It's definitely surmountable.
Who is surmountable?
I haven't actually personally met him. I've just heard a lot about him.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about him, and there's not a lot of teams are in him. As it turns out. It's okay, we've got a cease and desist here. Gumayusi is going to agree. He will stop. As Canyon, he may as well. And a teleport in from Doran as well, so that is going to mean that it's T1 favored. Great little pick off there and good answer from T1.
And I think I just saw surmountable turn up there.
Yeah, he certainly did.
Bit of an overstep from Gen G. Only 2 members committing to the play. The response comes in. Guma doing a good job to turn around the damage to get Canyon, and then Ona making the crack call. Knew the tower hit would kill the enemy jungler. Chases down Ruler with the help of Doran, and now we'll be able to pick up the Rift Herald. And this is actually feats of strength for T1. So despite the gold lead.
Oh, not quite. Haven't got a first turret yet.
Yeah, they need first turret. Okay. The objective of the feats of strength. So
yep.
If they have the Herald, they can throw that down and get it.
Exactly. Rift Herald is often a pretty decent avenue towards locking that one down.
Yeah.
They do have a bit of damage onto this outer turret on the top side of the map. Looks like they're going to hold on to it for now as, yeah, Canyon just presses R onto Gumayusi, but still takes a lot of damage back.
Yeah, I mean, he was just dead regardless just from Guma being there, but the follow-up, the immediate TP from Doran, really good to close down on Ruler, who doesn't bid any sums, kind of knows his fate.
Yep.
And yeah, so next tower, first tower is going to be feats of strength. Herald in pocket for Ona, so I think them looking to get that would be a big boon.
I was surprised as well that Ruler wasn't quite able to finish off any extra items as he goes back either. Wasn't actually able to put enough money together as he is sitting on just over 1,000.
Yeah, it has. I mean, he's 2,000 ahead of Guma.
It's insanity.
If you look, he's 2,000 ahead. The goal lead is about 2,000. Doran's 800 ahead. Dura's 800 ahead. Everyone else is about even. It's basically just the gold lead is Ruler, which, you know, if you want to have a gold lead, so it's a good place to have a gold lead for Gen G. But
if they deal with him,
that gold lead kind of just disappears. And it's actually now higher level than Ruler, only slightly. But I think that's a big thing as well. You know, level's important in the Corki. You have that level 11, you have the extra rocket damage. Those kills, the fact that Ruler died going a long way. So it's not all doom and gloom.
Doran.
One right now.
Gonna get poked a little bit here, but otherwise not too much more. Ruler does finally put that Rage Blade together. As Canyon's moving over, but there are a lot of people underneath this turret. Looks like T1 do want to employ the Rift Herald, and he does go down. That's a great double shockwave from Faker. As Canyon and Chovy looking a little worse for wear. This isn't going to be the tower falling down immediately, and Keen looking to try and get some pressure down. Let's see whether he can find an angle as he slows down Doran, but they just turn onto this Scion. Gen G not able to protect him, and Keen has to flash to get himself out of the way. Blooming Burst not quite doing enough here as Chovy walks
and look
into the river here. They've got so much vision of this area as that you look for it. Doran underneath the turret, but maybe it's a bridge too far still. They managed to lock that turret down and trade for their Enacted. Cease and desist, and they just mow them down. Keen not going to quite find the window here as another Tangle Barbs comes in, and Owner is also dead. It's a triple for Ruler. Oh no! It looked so good for T1 until it was a disaster.
Such an overstep there from T1. The health bars were low. They felt like they'd done enough to get the tower, but they look for the fight. They step too far. Ruler on that massive item spike. So easy for him to clean up those kills. And it's a disaster for T1.
Oh man, what happened?
But Doran goes forward, trying to zone them off so they can get the tower. They knock away the Scion, but Doran gets the Chovy on this flank angle, gets so much burst with the help of Canyon, with the help of Ruler. Canyon reset to come back in with help. And the cleanup comes in. You gotta remember as well, the Shockwave was already on cooldown, used to chunk them out before.
Yep. Did do a lot of work at the beginning of that, which is why things were looking pretty good for T1, but in the end, certainly was not positive. Canyon now going to move over and look for that first Chemtech Dragon as well, so that Dragon stacking will be stopped.
The problem there was, it was the sort of fight where T1 were really more focused on the turret. That was their objective in that. They were like, we want to take the turret. Doran, go zone them off. If we can get some kills, great. But the main focus was taking the turret there. And Gen G were just absolutely laser focused on we can just wipe them, especially with how strong Ruler was. And I think T1 just kind of disrespected Gen G in the moment.
Yep.
And was so and now this 7-2 Kai'Sa.
It's kind of ridiculous. And also it's Ruler with an advantage, and I feel like teams play differently based on who's on the team and who has leads, right? When Ruler has a lead, decisiveness is never his problem.
Yeah.
He's always going in, he's always commanding his team to do things. He's like, I'm strong, let's kill them all. And that seems to be the game plan here for Gen G whenever T1 are overstepping like they were. As now Carrier looking to get some vision down around this Arakan, which could be a real point of difficulty here for T1.
The thing is as well, I'm really worried because he's going this third item, Nash's Tooth.
Yep.
When he gets a Seeker's Arm Guard, like, one of your big tools to shut down Ruler is the Shockwave. Once he gets a Seeker's Arm Guard, he's just not going to work anymore.
Yep, you just see the little circle and you press your button.
Yeah, and that's not that far away. That is really not that far away from being at that point now, so I'm very worried for T1. The next 5 or so minutes are going to be really pivotal. If they find a big way to get back in the game, if they find a favorable fight, maybe they catch Ruler out. If he buys a Seeker's Arm Guard and uses it in a bad way, that's why I can see them get back in this game. But if they lose another fight, it might just be curtains on this one.
Yep. Does feel a little bit like their fate is no longer in their hands. But we'll see. Gen G have been fallible only against T1 in recent memory. Here from rounds 3 to 5.
T1 are T1, so that is...
Oh, but also Gen G haven't had the option of facing off against the bros.
Yeah, for their sake, you know.
Yeah. So we don't necessarily know. It could be that any of our Rise Group teams could take games off Gen G.
Legend Rise was implemented just to protect everyone from Bro.
Yeah, yeah. Or protect Gen G from Bro, basically, is how that one generally goes. And understandably so. They've been terrorizing them for years. Oh, no. Man, I loved talking about the top lane matchup and how important it was, and it hasn't been very important. It's been Keen trying to frontline for his team while Doran tries to win the game for his team. Doran having a pretty good performance thus far, but the problem is he's still Renekton as... Okay, so 3 items comes in as the 2 item spike is hit for the Corki, which feels less like a spike. It's
at least a big spike for the Corki. Guma's now doing some damage, but Ruler is just... He's at an ungodly level of strong. But again, he doesn't have that defensive option. He does have a summons though, but he will die still if you hit him with a Shockwave and maybe some other stuff as well. That's a big if. He has a lot of tools to avoid that, namely his Flash. But at least Guma is now putting out some respectable damage. Maybe not to the Scion, but to other people for sure.
Yeah,
Problem is Faker's not got Aurora fully stacked. His Seraph's isn't finished yet. So he's kind of not really putting out that much damage compared to what you'd be hoping right now.
And Chovy is looking very strong with his Riftmaker as well as... Okay, getting stunned up here by Doran momentarily as he does pop his way away. Just a little bit of, you know, a Griffin reunion, or a DRX reunion there for both of these players. As Keen looking for a bit of that Scion cheese from the brush.
Maybe that minion just decided to jump in the air.
Yeah. That's probably what Gumayushi was thinking.
It just doesn't.
This is curious, but, you know, it's some spaghetti. As Owner is off to the side, this Arakan down to 50%. It's taking so much damage, man. If Ruler decides... Things just go down, but Doran has found a flank angle, and Ona gets himself in there. It looks like they're not interested in the Arakan. Cease and desist will connect, fully charged Q onto Doran, and he is going to be the first one to go down. Pop Blossom to deal with Carrier, and they do manage to do it. It's just front to back here for Gen G as Ruler goes in, looking for the last few shots. The Supercharger comes down, but Gumayushi, he outplays it. Duro now in trouble as Arakan is looking to finish him off as Keen. Can he get over this wall to lock him down? And he has the flash. And Gumayushi, not many ways out here. Faker has actually taken out Chovy off to the side, and he gets the Arakan! All of the pedals going their way, and now they have the DPS. Keen, he's just a tank, and he has to walk it off.
What a clutch play from T1. Just when you think they need a fight win to keep their hopes alive in this game, they managed to find one. Guma clutching the 1v1 against Ruler. We see the play comes in. Doran looks for a flank on a Chovy. Really starts to put a lot of pressure onto him. He has to flash away. Canyon then looks for Doran, and Doran just gets put in the bounce house. Brutalized here. Ona goes aggressive with Carry, who just gets blown up. But a lot of tools have been used by Gen G. And then when Ruler dives forward, he's tanking Arakan. Guma just blows him up as well. Great play from him. Put some poke back on a Duro. And then Fake It disengages, and then makes the call to TP back in.
Yeah, and
like,
Chovy was almost dead to Arakan.
Flashes to kill him, and the thing is, Chovy was using his abilities on Arakan to finish. He had no cooldowns. That was such a clutch play from Faker and Guma, this duo, keeping the hopes of the team alive.
That was absolutely ridiculous. Man, it's good to have the T1 circus back here for T1 versus Gen G. And that's going to keep things at least competitive. We do want to bring everyone back to the realm of reality. It's still a decent lead here for Gen G. They managed to grab themselves an extra dragon, but now it's just 2 apiece between the 2 squads. And so that soul point will be available for either team in 4.5 minutes time.
Rod of Ages came in and the pedals, so Fake is level 16.
Oh my god, 2-level lead.
Yeah, I mean, Chovy's about to hit 15, but still, it's a big spike for the Orianna. You know, they got a lot of power from the Arakan, and they got those kills as well. Shutdowns, you know, Guma got the shutdown on the ruler. It's a 2,500 gold lead for Gen G, but with Arakan and with the feats of strength, this game feels pretty even.
Yep, certainly has been brought back to relatively level. Red buff will be stolen away here by Gen G, but I believe T1 managed to get the one towards the top side in Gen G's base, so that will be A-OK. Some pings out onto exactly where Chovy is as he moves up to catch that wave on the top side of the map. And Faker has all of a sudden become absolutely massive in this game, and I'm reminded of what everyone was talking about in the pre-show, and that was, if T1 are going to beat Gen G, it's often on the back of Faker getting things done. And 2-0-2, with those 2 core items fully stacked up, level 16, this Orianna is getting kind of massive.
I mean, I think something that's just so consistently been true for Faker in the past couple of years, I mean forever, but specifically the past couple of years when they've won Worlds, is just finding those clutch moments just to say, we're winning this game.
Yep.
And, you know, they haven't won this game yet, but if they do, we're going to look at that moment where he TP'd in at low HP to Arakan, just killed Chovy, took the neutral, and was like, see you guys, thanks for the buff.
Yep. Honestly, all is planned, probably. Looked like it was just the game plan all along. Just distract them, everyone else, and we'll get the job done in the end. Now, looks like aim of the game is going to be locking down this Baron, or at least making sure they have vision. Banana brush control there for Carrier, as there's wards for everyone in this pit.
I've led the game now with Arakan taking off the cards. Both teams at 2 dragons each, and it being a Chemtech soul. It is just going to become, I feel like, a lot of dancing around the Baron.
Yep.
I think often games become really hard to control when that Arakan is, you know, it was on the bot side of the map. If Baron is spawning as well, if it's a high pressure soul and one team's in soul point. But now I think both teams just kind of trying to maintain vision around this area and maybe seeing if they can set up a pick and find something. Zonya's has been completed for Ruler.
That's a big deal.
That is a big deal indeed.
Also a big deal for the graphics team, because they unfortunately got the graphic up a little bit late. And so that one wasn't actually on there just yet. It's fine. You can see it right now. 4 items done for this Kai'Sa.
I mean, that's the thing, is that you're in a composition where if you look at it from Gen G, their dive is phenomenal. But when all is said and done, their sustained damage is mostly just Ruler. And their gold and their carry potential is mostly just Ruler. You know, once Chovy's used his ult and his cooldowns, like, yes, he gets another rotation of cooldowns, but outside of that, you know, I feel like after that first 5-10 seconds of the fight, it's kind of Ruler's job to clean up, and if he does get caught out, if he gets chunked, I think that's really where this T1 composition can shine. So.
Yeah, they get moments to breathe, right? Yeah. The opening salvo is what they really need to make sure that they can absorb.
And also, if Ruler does end up going down or getting chunked, then I think that's where Gen G's composition can really struggle to match up to, you know, Orianna, who can Q every 2 seconds and pump out a ton of damage, or Corki, who just does autos with the extra 2 damage, he's doing a ton. He has just picked up LDR as well.
He's 7 levels ahead of Duro. What? Well, he's also, like, what, 8 levels ahead of Carrier, as there is the Shockwave. Duro is going to be able to find the Tangle Barbs, but that level discrepancy between the supports and Faker is just sanity.
He's approaching 18 as well. And the thing is, his build, going the Rod of Ages and the Seraphs, it felt like in the mid-game was a bit of a trough, you know, waiting for both of those to stack up, but now giving just a ton of AP and a good amount of survivability as well with the shield and the extra health.
Yep. I do love when, you know, in-game mirrors real life as well. Because Faker does have way more experience than everyone else. And that's just how it is on the Rift. Looks like Keen is going to try and punish him for it, but he's not going to be able to do so. Not a lot of follow-up in the area.
Yeah, Dragon spawning up, so teams are starting to set up around this and pull a little bit away from the Baron. Do you see Chovy looking on this flank angle?
Yeah, Carrier is going to get spotted here by Gen G as Keen moving in, wanting to find the angle. Chovy throws down between worlds. There's the Void Seeker connecting for Ruler as he gets dove on by the Renekton. Pop Blossom does nothing at all, and now Canyon's in trouble. Void Seeker is going to connect. There is the knock-up, and Ruler is over the wall. He takes down Gumayusi, goes golden to keep himself alive as Carrier's trying to be a hero. But it is going to work. They do get Ruler, and now it's Chovy needing to kill Faker in this game, because if they don't, he might be able to just win this one by himself. He wants to take the Aurora, but the orb doesn't have the range. Ona wants to get in there. There is the stasis to avoid Keen, but he's so extremely tanky. And Chovy's not going to risk it this time around. Ona just audaciously charging this Brambleback. And yes, Keen is kind of immortal against these champions as Chovy's making his way back, and that is T1's cute exit.
We'll have to back away. Keen got so much presence here. Chovy TPing back in, now looking.
Yep, doesn't get it.
Faker still so scary here, and you can see once Ruler went down, it kind of became a little bit delicate for Gen G in this situation. The initial fight, Ona has to tank the Sional. They get caught out by a great ult from Chovy. Ona just kind of gets bounced around, but they immediately jump on a Canyon, target him, take him down, peel back. Guma, unfortunately, gets caught out by the Q from the Sion. Flashes over, but a great read from Ruler, follows him over the wall. Then here, Carrier slams, combos with Faker to take out the Kai'Sa. And that's where it gets a little bit goofy. Yeah. Because Chovy just doesn't have enough damage to finish off these targets quick enough. Faker surviving for so long, especially because he runs out of mana. And then it's Duro and Keen just kind of
bopping him a little, like just trying to hit them with the little pool noodles.
Yeah, and Ona healed up, and both teams like, okay, this is a little silly. Let's just back off. And now we're back on the map, right? But a lot of summoners were burned. And what's really important is that every flash on T1 is down. Gen G still have 3, and they're 3 really big ones because they're on both their carries and on Duro. So I'm a little worried for Guma. I'm a little worried, less so for Faker because he has Zhonya's, but particularly for Guma. And in fact, T1 aren't even opting to contest the Dragon. That's how concerned they are about moving into an area they don't have vision, on the back of the fact that they don't have flash on their carries.
And it is Soul Point. They have started off this Baron as Duro not going to get stunned. As there's the knock-up coming on through. Duro gets over the wall, but I don't think he's necessarily in safety just yet. That Tangle Barbs may have helped out as Doran looking to get in there. The Pop Blossom, though, is going to hold him up in the air, and Duro will survive. That was some very cheeky Nicoing, and that means that the Baron is going to get stopped as now Canyon, he's the one in trouble, and Gumayusi does a lot of damage. Cease and desist will not be acquiesced at this point in time. And there goes the jungler, and the Baron's up.
Yeah, so big pick to get Canyon down. They want to set up for this Baron, but Doran is low, and they're still cautious about the potential for a fight. They're now looking for more.
Yep, Mega Cone does get Ona in there as between worlds goes Chovy. Knock-up is going to come on through for Keen, but he is still melting here against T1. He does find some knock-ups, but doesn't get the Q. Void Seeker going to come on down here as Ruler. I don't think he wants to fight this. The Zombie Scion will be taken down, and T1 keep everyone alive, and this should mean Baron.
Yeah, the fact they got Chovy's ult as well, a big tool down. The poke is coming in from Ruler. Remember, he has the reset his W every time it lands.
Yep, Chovy's still up as well, as there is Doran setting up that Dominus. He's had a beeline towards Ruler every single time, but this health bar is just getting softened up. The Baron's likely to go down, but can they get themselves out? And the answer is absolutely yes. And T1 highway robbery here, as they have now reduced that gold lead to 1,000, which means approximately 0.
Yeah, beautifully played there from T1. The pick on a Duro not quite working out, but it was the pick set up by Guma and Ona onto Canyon. They saw all of Gen G collapsing in, and they waited for him in the brush. You'll see that coming out here. So initially, find this play of Duro. Carrier doesn't quite get the slam because of the rocket belt that came through. Duro flashes away, and then they try to catch him. Like, we get the support. It's very hard for them to establish vision. We can chase him down. But if you look on the map, you see all of Gen G collapsing in, and Canyon walks over a control ward. Yeah. And immediately, Ona and Guma are like, we can kill him. And Guma has so much damage. They go in on him. Ona even blocks the charge. They're able to clean him up. They know he has no flash. And then this is where they move on to Baron, but they're like, we need more kills. We can't just go 5v4 onto Baron with Duran being low. They obviously play to get the pick on a Keen because, frankly, Guma's doing a ton of damage now and can shred the Scion.
Certainly is.
And now with this Baron looking to push, and that gold lead 1,600, but with the Baron in pocket, they can close that out.
Already you can see Rebel Baron power play only sitting at 1,000. That still has almost 2 minutes to
look at that damage.
Even more. Yeah, Gumyushi is really scary. Lord Dom's now done as well as the IE. And so Genji will not have any of these turrets fall just yet, but on this push, it should be this one going down as Canyon looks for an angle. Doesn't quite get over the wall, but there is Between Worlds for Chovy, looking to try and lock down Ona here as the Tangle Barbs will connect. But Keen just can't really frontline anymore.
Yeah, and I feel like Ona has kind of been playing like a tank Xin Zhao, where he's just been absorbing so much, and it doesn't seem like a fun role, but when Genji approach, he's just there to block and make sure they can't get access to backline. And now T1 looking for this mid-tier 2 without the Aurora ult. Feels like a lot of pressure, not able to be there.
Yep.
Another picked up. That's 2,400 on the Baron power play so far, and that gold lead non-existent now for Genji.
200 gold. And at 36 minutes into the game, less than 0 is what that means. Look at all of this vision around the dragon area as well. Oh man, does this mean that we're going to 3 dragons apiece? And the game is just going to be locked up. Likely we've got another 10 minutes until the Elder comes up. That is exactly what we wanted here for our Saturday Showdown in the final week of regular season play for 2025.
This is just game 1, you know?
Yep.
This is what we've been hoping for. Get a Crypt Balloon coming in from Faker, so he's got 4 items. Level 18, of course, as is Guma. Chovy and Ruler approaching level 18 themselves. And at this point, it is full build for Ruler with the Rabadons in pocket, so he's obviously doing a good amount of poke with those Void Seekers, a good amount of damage on targets he can connect on. But it is starting to feel like Genji struggling at times to just have the throughput in the fights.
Yeah.
You know, if they can't kill these backliners, and they've done a decent job, I'd say, of targeting Guma, but Faker hasn't died yet, right? And he has a good amount of health. He has the shielding for the Seraphs. He has the Zhonyas. All summoners are now back up for T1. It's not always enough just to kill the Corki, and a lot of the time Guma's done a good amount of damage in return when he has gone down, if he has gone down. So Genji, their engage really needs to be on form, and I think I'm looking really at Duro on this Nico. If he can find a big pop blossom, that can be make or break in this game.
Yep, there's a knock up from Keen as Canyon looking for a little bit of an angle. Chovy is going to teleport in, so that is Summoner Spell used. Canyon with a bit of a wraparound as the dragon has now spawned. Voidseeker does find Gumyushi. Kind of a big deal as this Rabadon's Death Cap has been completed. Valkyrie is a good trade for that one. As Keen now moving his way in. That health bar is getting real large. As Chovy on that angle, Canyon moves into the pit. I think unseen there as now Doran dives on top of Chovy. Can he actually get himself out? He goes between the worlds, but the Krug Lord has him exactly where he wants him, and the dragon goes over to T1. Keen is looking to go down here as well as no redemption for the Scion, and T1 finding the angles in the late game.
Such a great read from Doran. Chovy trying to be annoying on this side, harassing, looking to find an angle on the Aurora. Immediately Doran pounces, pins him down, chases him with the help from the Krugs to take out Chovy.
Why would he go to his natural habitat?
He doesn't know. He gets the lair bonus there, and now
he did.
5v3. T1's just looking to end.
Yep, Carrier looking to get into position here. That is definitely this inhibitor going down. Let's see how much more that they can collect. As there is no Baron, they can deal with the wave theoretically, but there's a lot of low-range members on Genji. And T1 will have front row seat to this. Here's the engage as Ruler dives in, immediately does go golden and does flash away. Can he stay alive? That's the question. The answer is no! Owner is able to lock him down as Canyon gets into that back line, but it's not going to be enough. And T1 they were losing the entire game until they weren't, as Keen is going to show up, looking to try and deal with this wave as best he can. They might be able to do it here for now, but that's another zombie Scion. And Doran running amok in this fight as well. This one may not necessarily be completely over just yet, but I think the writing is on the wall as T1, phenomenal performance late in this game. Duro and Chovy trying to get this one done. Out goes Chovy. No between worlds for you. And Gumayusi just needs a few shots on this Nexus. Chovy not going to be able to finish him off. And there it is. T1 with a game 1.